So yeah, like Mike said, it's a spin out of Vizsla Silver, and really just the two goals. It's a simple strategy, realize some value out of those copper assets that were locked up in Vizsla Silver, and then create a vehicle for taking advantage of what we see as a super good base metals market coming up here. So those are the two properties, Carruthers Pass and Blueberry. They're in central BC. Carruthers Pass is a VMS property, and Blueberry is porphyry copper. Carruthers Pass to start with. So Vizsla Copper has an option to acquire 60% interest in Carruthers Pass. You can see its location there. It's kind of in that belt of, it's hard to point at stuff from here, but there's that northwest-southeast running belt of copper occurrences that extends from north of Comess down to south of Mount Milligan. And Carruthers Pass is squarely in the middle of all that. Unlike those two deposits, which are porphyries, Carruthers Pass is a VMS. So we're talking about super high grade, massive sulfides, very small footprint compared to the porphyries. That's the property map. It's a bit blank, to be honest. The claims were staked in '97 to follow up a big boulder of massive sulfides that was found there. And there really hasn't been a whole lot of work done since then, and it's part of what makes this very attractive for us. That's a shot. That top photo is the boulder itself. It wasn't clear. Nobody could decide for sure whether it was a boulder or not. It certainly has massive sulfides. Grades in it up to 14% copper and 6% zinc. It's sitting in this talus slope, and lots of people thought it was just some bedrock sticking out of the talus. They weren't all that sure. So finally, in 2011, they set up a drill right on it, and that's that bottom photo, and drilled through it. They cut 3-point-something meters of massive sulfide, and then got into more talus underneath. So it clearly is a boulder. It's not in place. It's just sitting there. And so this is a slide from a helicopter, a photo from a helicopter. The massive boulder, the massive sulfide boulder is actually on that photo. It's down in the bottom. There's a label and an arrow. Hopefully you can see it. But I don't think you have to be a geologist to say that likely came from the cliffs above. And so in 2008, actually, there were some technical climbers who were geologists that did some work on these cliffs. And they noted the two mineralized horizons up there, and there is massive sulfide in those horizons. So it's really clear that that's where that boulder came from. And there are actually only 5 holes up on the top of that hill trying to hit that massive sulfide. And it's really not clear that they were drilled far enough or at the right angles to actually do that. So we think that there's lots of potential here for finding the source of that boulder. Okay, so that takes me to Blueberry. This is a porphyry copper project. We own 100% of it. It's in that trend between the Huckleberry and Berg deposits that stretches up to the northeast towards the Babine porphyry. So a big long stretch of porphyry copper deposits there. It was acquired, or it was staked because of the Stars discovery, which was drilled in 2018, just immediately to the north. There's a star there that highlights that spot. Hopefully you can see it. 0.45% copper over 204 meters was the best hole drilled there in 2018. And that image in the background, that's magnetics. The highs there, the warmer colors, are due to intrusions that cause these porphyry deposits. And clearly that mag high extends down onto the Blueberry property, and there's another one off to the east. This is not small. These are not small properties. You can see the scale bar down there, 7 kilometers long. So that high zone of high mag over on the west is probably 8 or 9 kilometers in length. So lots of country to explore. I don't think there's ever actually been a drill hole on this property. So, and one of the most important features of this is that it's basically a till-covered plain. There's almost no bedrock on here, and so hiding mineralization from anybody who's ever driven over it before. So yeah, great exploration property for us. Just a couple words on the copper market. I know that most of you know way more about it than I do. So, but the important thing is that green demand is growing incredibly and driving copper demand. And battery vehicles are the best example of that currently. And I think on the supply side, I'm a believer in this notion of peak copper. And that's largely because I think those large Andean copper deposits, those porphyries, as in that picture there, which is actually Taka Taka, those, I mean, they're visible on Google Earth, right? That's a big advanced argillic alteration zone on top of a porphyry copper deposit. Those have largely been found. They've largely been mined. Certainly the supergene blankets have been largely mined. And I don't see us finding a whole lot more of those in the next while. So yeah, I think supply is going to be an issue in the copper business. There's a slide on the management. Craig is executive chairman. Chris Donaldson is the CEO. Grant Tanaka, myself. We've got Mike, Simon, and Carleen as other directors. And there's the market, the capital structure. So trading at about 30 cents, 80 million shares outstanding, gives us a market cap of 24 million. So basically, Mike, you've ticked off that first box. You've generated quite a bit of value for those copper assets. And we're currently evaluating a pile of really interesting projects. And so I think you can expect lots of good news from us. So that's it. Thanks very much.